Department of Justice this week made some news because it announced a new $1.8 billion fund to pay individuals who believe they were targeted politically. A lot to talk about on this, but the money comes from a settlement over a lawsuit the president brought against the IRS over the unauthorized disclosure of his tax return years ago. First of all, do you believe this is legal, what the president is trying to do, what the Department of Justice is trying to do?
I'm not going to be an attorney and judge its legality, but I think it's stupid on stilts.
Why?
Because it will invariably put us in a position where your taxpayer dollars and my taxpayer dollars could potentially compensate someone who assaulted a police officer, admitted their guilt, got convicted, got pardoned, and now we're going to pay them for that? That's absurd. The American people are going to reject this out of hand. No reasonable person. Look, I've stipulated that the president pardoned a lot of people on January 6th that he probably should have. The dummies that went into the Capitol after it was breached. They weren't in any altercations with law enforcement, but that front line had a lot of thugs that should still be in prison and be in prison as long as the law would allow, and they too are eligible for this payout. Your dollars, my dollar. That is the definition, as Thomas Jefferson, I think, once said, of tyranny. When you take money from me to give to a purpose that I vehemently disagree with, that's tyranny, and that's what that account is.
You've been very consistent over the past year, and we spoke about it more than a year ago, about what should happen with people who hurt police officers here on January 6th. The acting attorney general was asked about that this week in a hearing and wouldn't rule out the possibility that people who assaulted police officers would be eligible for compensation from the fund.
That sort of thought process is as objectionable and as insulting to me as the Democrats' initiative for all cops are bastards. The 13.12 mile walk, ACAB, going after police officers. What we're doing as Republicans now, the Democrats have been for years yelling defund the police and disrupting the police. Now we're looking no different than them. There's no moral difference between the Democrats on Act Blue raising money for all cops are bastards and actually rewarding someone for assaulting a police officer on one of the darkest days in Senate history.
You've said you would block any nominee for Attorney General if this came up. Would you block Todd Blanchard?
I don't get into hypotheticals, but I don't think that people have to go too far to see that anybody who equivocates and supported the thugs that harmed police officers will never get my voting committee or on the floor.
Well, no, we'll avoid hypotheticals, but should he be the acting Attorney General right now?
The president can have anybody he wants in a role that's not subject to my confirmation. When they want my vote for confirmation, they better not have anything in their record suggesting that what happened on January 6th was anything but one of the darkest days in American history.
Right.